Welcome, readers. Today on Book Chat, we are going to be diving into the reader topic of romance tropes. We're going to be sharing the ones that we like, the ones that we don't, and we have a few book recommendations for you at the end of the episode. Stay tuned. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Participate in this discussion by joining the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official. I hope to hear your thoughts on today's topic. You can always find me and Casey on Twitter and Instagram. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's episode, please support this podcast by sharing it with some book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. That would really help me out, and I appreciate you for doing so. The uncut video version of this podcast is available now on Patreon. Join us there for exclusive videos, including after shows and more. So if you're interested in that at all, you'll need to come on over to Patreon and sign up. Without further ado, let's get started. Joining me is feature co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
Yay, I'm glad you're here because today we are talking about one of your favorite things, which is romance. Yes.
I love romance novels.
Yeah. See, I like romance, but you got it 4 or 5 times as much as me. Maybe more.
Probably more. I've been reading romance novels since I was 9 years old. So I was, set for life. It's been romance or get the fuck out for my entire life.
I think romance did start my reading journey because I was reading Fern Michaels off my cousin's shelf. I was reading, actually, that's not necessarily romance, but it had a lot of romance stuff in it. V.C. Andrews, it was like had sex and kink in it, but it wasn't really romance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember reading Sandra Brown back in the day, like before she kind of switched to the like crime thriller kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That tells you how old I am. Now, these books weren't brand new when I came out. I should say that. They were not new when I started reading them. So, okay.
Okay.
Disclaimer. So, yeah, I like romance. I wish I liked it more sometimes, but I read so many different genres. I go through phases. So I knew you would be the perfect person to break this down with because you are a romance lover.
Romance lover, romance writer, romance editor. I live and breathe romance novels.
Oh.
Yeah. My entire life revolves around romance novels. It's fun.
It is fun. And that's why we're going to start with the fun part of this conversation. Yay! And we're going to talk about the things we like, romance tropes that we like and we enjoy reading. So, yes, we're going to start with the high before we get to the low. So why don't you kick us off, Casey? What's one of your favorite tropes?
Oh my gosh. I have so many favorite tropes, but I think one of my favorites is one that doesn't get mentioned a lot, but it's when the grumpy person is just completely in love with like the ball of sunshine person. And so their entire book is just like one person's being a grump and the other person's just being like happy and shooting rainbows and everything is great.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's real life for some of us.
Oh, yes. No, when it's done right, it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to save all my book recs for later, but I just want to drop. Talia Hibbert does that beautifully with several of her books, where one person will just be super, super grumpy and the other person's just so happy and everything is great.
I did read a book by her recently where the main character, the heroine, was like really negative. Like, what's your problem, girl?
Does that get a life, Chloe Brown?
Yeah, she was like the worst. And he's like, what is the problem? I was just trying to be nice.
So for me, especially with Talia's books, is that she lets her characters be angry, especially her female characters, because so often in romance novels, especially the last 20 plus years, the heroine had to be this soft, compatible, sweet girl who just says yes to everything and everybody loves her. And, you know, she's the woman who bakes cookies and has her hair done and she's a virgin and everybody's sweet. So, yeah, no, I love it when she gets to be the grump and he's still just like, yes, I love you. Let's go rescue cats and do fun stuff.
He's like, I understand you and it's okay.
It's okay. You can be grumpy.
Yeah, let's just go on our adventures and you just be grumpy.
Yes.
It's fun.
So I love that trope. And I love when people spin it on its head. So it's not just, you know, the man getting to be grumpy because he's a man and he has to brood.
Yeah.
Because I've read a lot of those books too. And don't get me wrong, I will enjoy the hell out of those books too.
Mm-hmm.
But when that trope is flipped and it's the woman getting to be grumpy, I'm just like, I'm here for it.
Yes. I'm not about that submissive woman anyway. So I like it.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay. Well, I guess one for me would be, although I don't read many in this trope or whatever, but when I do, I tend to enjoy it. And that's second chance at love kind of situation.
Oh.
Yeah, not always because it's someone that knew someone in high school and now they're in college, but maybe it's, I was married to you, we're divorced, now we're going to get married again. Or
that would be interesting.
Yeah. Or maybe in college we knew each other and now we're both divorced and we meet again, only because I'm not 20-year-old. So sometimes it's refreshing to read about a 40-year-old falling in love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't usually like second chance romances because I don't agree with the way the author does it. So not to get too negative because we got to save this for later.
Yeah.
But usually I've seen it too many times where the backstory, like there has to be a reason why they broke up in the first place. And usually it's something so horrific that I'm like, you should stay far away from this person. Like this is abuse. Like they hit you or whatever. Like when it's horrible. And I'm just like, no, let's not do this. Or, you know, like that backstory is really, really bad. Or it means absolutely nothing. And like somebody didn't get a letter or somebody didn't get a text message or whatever. And then they broke up for 20 years. But that's what the Notebook was.
The Notebook was that.
I don't like the Notebook.
I loved it. It was so cute.
No.
And it's so stupid too. It's so stupid why they didn't. But you know, it's like I just love it anyway. It's so like, oh. And then you're like, yay.
And then you're like, oh no, everybody's dead.
I'd rather that than some awful situation where, like you said, you shouldn't be together anyway.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, that is better. But I avoid Nicholas Sparks in all of his books.
I understand. I don't read a lot of his stuff, but the Notebook specifically. Oh, so sweet. And I know like it is so the furthest thing from real life because I actually was watching the movie one time years ago. Mm-hmm. And I asked Kevin, I'm like, would you read our love story if I forgot it? He's like, no. Why would I do that if you're not going to remember? I'm like, oh, damn. Yeah. And it's cute anyway. Okay, what's another one you like?
So another one is the older brother's or older sibling's best friend. I don't know why, but I love that trope. It gets me every single time. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. There's nothing. So I'll get into the taboo tropes later, but there's nothing like really taboo about dating your older sibling's best friend. But there is like that almost taboo line to it. If that makes sense, you guys, does. Are you following along with my logic?
Well, I kind of like this a different take on that. So instead of a sibling's older brother, I like the best friend's older brother.
Ooh, that's another good one.
Yeah, because then it's like, do you mess up your best friend relationship if this relationship with the brother doesn't work out?
Yep. Yep. Fun story. My first boyfriend back in high school was my best friend's older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Did not work out. We don't really talk now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I lived that one in real life.
That followed the trope for real.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, dang. But those are cute, though, because
they are really cute.
Yeah.
It adds that extra layer of tension because, yeah, you don't want to ruin the friendship. You don't want to ruin the relationship with your sibling, or you don't want to ruin the relationship between the sibling and the romantic partner.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's all that extra tension.
Yeah. I do like that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Although that's another one I don't read a whole lot of. It doesn't pop up a lot for me when I'm trying to find something to read. So maybe I'll make a note of that so next time I can look for it. I haven't read one in a while. Now, one thing I know, like a lot of people don't like this, and I've heard people complain about this, but I like it as long as it's not ridiculous. Okay. And that trope is mated or destined. I don't mind it if it's done well, if it's done right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you like that one too?
Oh yeah. No, especially in paranormal romance. And I'm totally blanking, so somebody help me on this. But I know I've read paranormal romances where you're the fated mates, but they're like, nope, I don't want to be fated to you. And so they fight the whole time. But there's that extra layer of sexual tension, and they're like, nope, I hate you. I don't want to be mated to you, but I'm attracted to you.
I like it. Yes. I like it because the woman's like, I don't care what this says. I'm going to do what I want to do.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yes. Yeah. But then eventually it's like, well, damn.
Yes. No, I hate that one where, chapter 1, they meet, we're fated. Okay, let's start having sex and we're in love and, making babies by chapter 3. That's ridiculous and stupid. And I don't like that fated mate. But yeah, no, when it's done right, I do love a fated mate trope.
Yeah. I also don't mind it, like, for example, if you do like fall in love with someone because you're bonded to them or whatever, but you still fight it for other reasons. Like we can't be together for A reason or B reason or C reason. So they, fight that for external reasons and then having to see them overcome that. I like that too.
Oh yeah. No, I love the fated mates and paranormals. It really, yeah.
J.R. Ward is like really known for that. And I think she does. I think that might be why I read so many of her books, is because they do have that kind of external problems as to why they're usually not getting together right away. And it takes a minute.
Yes. But, yeah. You need that tension. Tension is important in books.
Oh, it is.
As your editor, I will yell at you if you don't have any tension. As a reader, I will quit your book if there is no tension.
I can't even think of one where the couple were mated or destined and they just fell into lockstep. Can you think of one?
Not to be a mean, awful bitch, but usually like the Kindle Unlimited or like the freebie books on Kindle, where they're like, here's my paranormal mated story. And it's only 89 pages. And look, I met this hot guy at a bar, and now we're having sex on page 2. And now we're mated, and everything's happy in the end. I've read too many of those books.
Yeah, I don't mess with those books. So I
have read far too many of those books.
Oh, man. See, I like to learn my lesson. I'll keep going back for more.
I know I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but it's when I'm in those moods to read crappy books, like watching trashy TV. I read trashy books. and I sit there and I drink my wine and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep seeing how this dumpster fire goes.
Yeah.
And if it's really, really bad, I will quit. But yeah, I know sometimes I just need to read a trashy book.
And that's okay sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, you know what you're getting into, you know what you want.
I know what I want. I know what I'm getting into. This is exactly what I'm reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I never talk about it. Like, I will never write a review on this. I will never get on this podcast and be like, oh, so this one book by this one author is so trash. No, I don't. I will never name names in this instance because I'm specifically reading it for
that.
For the trashy TV element of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that's one of my guilty pleasures. And I should stop. I should just watch trashy TV instead.
You know what? You got to do what you got to do. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could do that. I just don't.
Don't wish this on yourself. Don't do it on yourself. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Listen to me bitch about it, but don't do it to yourself.
Okay, I am one that likes to learn from others' experiences, so I don't have to do it the hard way. So I will not do that.
Learn from me. Don't do this.
All right. I don't know. I don't have a whole bunch of, actually, you know what? One that I do like, because I was just going to say, I don't have another one, but I actually do. And I don't know if it's not necessarily enemy to lover, but it's like coworker, competitive situation to lover kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
It has to be done really, really well because too often it's, violent and awful and not really enemies or enemies to lovers done right is beautiful. But I haven't seen it done right very often. And I can't think of anything right now.
Well, I can't think. I feel like I'm about to have this author's name. Oh, there it is. I'm like, what is it? I'm looking it up just to make sure I'm right.
Yeah, look it up.
Because there are two different authors writing together. So they kind of have this hodgepodge name. Christina Lauren, is that it?
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. So maybe in the last 2 years, I've read a couple of things by them. Now, I don't like every single thing, but I did really like Hating You, Dating You, or Dating You, Hating You. I think is the other way around. Like it came out a couple years ago, and that was that perfect like workplace. They accidentally work at the same place because there's a merger. And they do the same thing. So they're like in direct competition with each other for the whole book. But they're also trying to date, and then they figure we can't date. And then it's like fun. I think that was really cute. The banter, the tricks they play on each other.
I've never read Christina Lauren, but if you're raving about this book, I might go try it.
Yeah, it's super cute. I mean, it's like, and it's almost like even this trope, when I sit down to read it, I almost just know I'm not going to expect anything too deep and heavy. I just know it's going to be fun and entertaining. So going to it like that. Yeah. Like they're not soulmates by any means. I mean, honestly, at the end of the book, it does have the traditional, happily ever after. But after the happily ever after, they could totally break up and find somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep, I know exactly what you mean. So on the flip side of that trope, one of my absolute favorites is fake dating. I love the fake dating trope. I love it so much. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I just love that whole I need to pretend that you're my boyfriend, and now we have to pretend to kiss in front of people, and oh no, I really like kissing you, and what's happening? This wasn't supposed to turn into real emotions. I don't want feelings, but now I have feelings. Everything is great.
Yeah. Well, I'll take fake relationships or fake dating over like a wedding date situation where they fall in love in one day, because I'm like, I can't take it. I'm like, this is a fake date. And then all of a sudden you're in love with this guy or girl.
Okay, so there's a movie I have to recommend to you. and it has Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. And it's the two of them meeting at a wedding and falling in love in a day. And it is absolutely beautiful.
Really?
Yes. I cannot think of the name of it. But it's the two of them being super sarcastic and bitchy to each other the entire time. Like they're two prickly cactuses or cacti. And they snark at each other the entire wedding. They...
Is it Destination Wedding?
I think so. With Keanu Reeves and...
It's only a couple years old?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah. That was 2018. No.
Yes. Watch that movie. I think you might enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, that's the trope you just said you don't like.
Yeah.
But watch this movie. I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh. Okay, I'll try it. If it's on Netflix or something, or Prime Video or something, I'll watch it.
I think it's Prime Video is where I watched it. But
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to let you know how that goes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, see, I think I like the opposite of like instant kind of gratification. Yeah. Like, for example, if we want to talk movies, like just a little tangent, like I loved The Lake House. Did you
never watched it?
Oh my God. It's another Keanu Reeves movie, but it's with Sandra Bullock plays counter him. And it's a little older. But it was super cute. Like they're in two different timelines almost. And they're writing these letters back and forth and putting them in this magical mailbox where they get the letters. But they eventually plan to meet at this one time in the future. So he has a much longer time to wait to meet her than she does. Yeah. And it's the cutest thing. I love it. So I like that kind of stuff. It's cheesy.
Okay. Yes. Cheesy rom-coms. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I like when they have to like go through some struggles. They have to, you know, maybe they miss the opportunity sometimes, you know, and then come back around. So we'll see how I do with Destination Wedding, because I like these kind of books. I'm like, oh, one day and you're in love with this. No.
Like they're instant enemies. Like they instantly hate each other, but they're in forced proximity through this entire wedding. And it's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
I want to know what you think about it. So.
Okay. Well, you know, since I have this whole upcoming week off, I probably can fit it
in. Quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
Work, COVID. Okay.
Yeah. So what else do you like? Do you have a few others that you really enjoy?
Oh, yeah. So if we're going to like move on into the taboo realm and go that route.
Okay.
Anybody who listened to the Three Bloggers One series, when we were doing Kresley Cole's series, I am told I hate the love triangle unless it turns into a triad.
Oh, Lord.
So don't give me a triangle unless all three people are going to be like in this relationship together. That's what I want.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh. Oh.
Yes.
I don't hate it necessarily, but I don't know. Depends on who the people are in the trio.
That's true. Yeah, but
so.
I definitely feel like that trio and Kresley Cole's, they need to be together. All three of them. Yes. That's how the series has to end. And if it doesn't, I'm going to be pissed.
Well, I don't know. Don't hold your breath on that ending.
I'm not. If she ever writes it, I'll probably read it just to, you know, have the conclusion read. But
I mean, after all of that, I feel like I have to know how it turns out. But I don't necessarily want all three of them together, although I wouldn't be mad at the main character, because I mean, if she get two different hot guys that look night and day, I mean, that could be fun.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not hating on anybody.
Guys?
That's fun. So have you read any books like that where it actually turns out like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like the the new Camelot series by Sierra Simone, which I have under my book recommendations for later. It's a retelling of King Arthur in modern day, and King Arthur, Guinevere, and Lancelot all get together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. No, if you go erotic, there are triads and foursomes and moresomes.
Oh my God. I read
the reverse harem. I avoid that because it's usually not done well. But
I did read this book. It was recommended to me, and I won't say it because I really did not like it. But there was that situation in there where the woman was kind of sleeping with one person, and she goes to this place, and then she meets someone else. And the next thing you know, kind of all three of them are kind of having this thing, and it turns into this. But I just didn't like the stuff they were doing.
Okay, you're going to tell me that after the
show. Because it's X-rated, y'all, so I'm not going to say it. But I was like, ooh, I don't know. But, it could have been cute. It could have been. But that's that.
Even in real life, this freaks me out beyond anything. But in books, I love the professor-student dynamic.
Oh, yuck.
Oh, yeah. No, in real life, no. Can't even. No, stay away from me. But in books, if it's done right, I love it.
No,
if it's
I don't
done
like it
wrong,
at all.
It's really creepy and gross.
The only time I can tolerate that in books or movies or TV or anything is if the student is an actual adult. Like, I can't deal with it when they're underage, period. I don't care.
Oh, no, like not high school, like college. Like, you're over 18, you're maybe 20, 21. And if it's a younger professor who's under 30, so like you're really close in age already.
Okay, so not an older guy kind of thing.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Because even that can be gross. Like if you have like a 50-year-old trying to hook up with a 19-year-old,
no.
That's gross.
No. That's so gross.
That was in a book I read, man.
Oh, God.
I was like, ugh, yuck. Ooh. I mean, I don't know what 19-year-old want to curl up next to a 51-year-old body. I don't know.
Unless he has several $1 million that he's about to leave you before when he dies of a heart attack.
Smooth out that ride a little bit with a couple $1 million.
Yeah, smooth it out.
Oh, no. I mean, and actually that leads perfectly into what I kind of hate, but I don't want to jump the gun. This is a great time to take a quick break. Yes. And then, so when we return, we're going to finish up our conversation with tropes that we absolutely do not like, aka hate. So you don't want to miss that rant. And at the end of the episode, Casey will share a few of her go-to romance recommendations. Stay with us. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Audiobooks.com. Audiobooks.com now has 175,000 titles and 1.2 million podcasts. New customers get 3 free audiobooks comprised of 1 premium credit and 2 VIP titles. Use our promo code Shelf Addiction, spelled as one word, when you sign up at Audiobooks.com. Again, our promo code is Shelf Addiction, spelled as one word. Okay, guys, welcome back. Time to jump into the rant. And I will just pick up right where we left off. So I cannot stand the whole poor girl meets millionaire man.
The billionaire trope. Oh my God.
The billionaire, playboy, millionaire, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I don't like it for some reason. It's like some guy has to come in with all this money and sweep you off your feet to be worth anything.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yes. And I've said this before on the podcast. If you guys have been longtime listeners, depending on what conversation that was, I have said the person who has the money has the power.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
absolutely.
true. So if you have someone where it's vastly different, and he's got all the money and you've got pennies compared to him, guess who's be trying to run you? He's going to be trying to run you. So that's what they do with those characters too.
Yep.
I can't take it.
Nope.
Can't take it. I'd rather a couple that's more equally yoked than that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there is a power dynamic, I don't want it to be that fundamental. Like, one of my most hated tropes is the boss employee.
Ugh.
I cannot fucking stand that trope.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Like, how can somebody say no if you're their boss? You control their career, you control their money because it's their paycheck.
Right.
You control literally everything.
Right. Now, the only way I could deal with that is like, I'm about to make up my own story. So let's say that, you know, there's some flirting going on in the office or whatever, but then for whatever reason, he leaves or she leaves, and then they meet in a cafe or on the street or wherever.
Yes.
And then they were like, oh, I had this huge crush on you, but now that we're not working together,
yes,
let's do it.
Yes, that would be a perfect story. Like, you meet cute at work, but then you leave work, and then you're both independent of that. And it's not like, oh shit, if we break up, you know, you're going to ruin my career that I've spent my entire life building. No.
Yeah, because then the woman always has to, especially if she is the subordinate, she's always going to get the shit of, you or get the favoritism, you this,
nepotism.
You sleep to get that pay, you sleep with her to get that paycheck, all of that drama. No one likes that. I don't like it. It's yucky.
It is so yucky. And then there's that whole consent. Like, are you really saying yes because you want this? Or are you saying yes because you're afraid for your job?
Right. When the lines get blurred like that, it's not comfortable to read.
Nope.
Because you're making a lot of assumptions. You know, kind of like that whole, you know, what is the trope where like people fall in love with their kidnapper? Oh, God.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, my God. Right. But like the one book I read, I can't remember the name of the book right now, but he really wasn't a bad guy, but he was like working for like the FBI or something, but he still kidnapped a girl. He still kidnapped her and did not disclose who he was and what he was doing. And then she falls in love with him. And I'm like, what? This guy kidnapped you. Doesn't matter that he's not the actual well, he did kidnap you. I don't know.
He did. No, there's that whole dark romance, and I'm using air quotes for anybody who can't see me right now, dark romance subgenre, where it's like, okay, we're going to have you kidnapped and you fall in love because it's insta-love and you're fated mates, but, you know, he's actually evil. He's in the mafia. He's a hitman. He's murdering people left and right, but he loves you and everything's great. You're super in love. But I'm like, no.
I can't take that. I cannot take it. I'm like, are you crazy? That guy's awful.
A slightly less evil version of that trope that I still just fucking hate is the bully romance. I despise the bully romance because you are just the collective, every author who writes this, and I'm being very generalized, I'm sorry, but you're enabling bullying, you're promoting it, you're like, oh yeah, you know, this kid insulted you and called you fat for 20 years and now you're gonna have sex with him because you're in love, and now you're like super in love, and I hate the bully
Doesn't
romance.
that kind of fall within that whole like fairy tale realm where like a ugly duckling to swan kind of thing, where like the football player is such a douchebag, but hey, you got a makeover and now he's in love with you.
Yes. I hate that. I hate that.
I cannot.
I cannot.
No, I cannot. I hate all of that stuff. I also kind of hate love triangles, but like in general, like I kind of hate it. Like I would so much, any day of the week, I would take a man or a couple. I would take a couple having to deal with a bunch of internal and external issues to overcome and make it worth it in the end for them to be together over some third party interrupting the relationship. I feel like it's just too easy and too expected. You know what I mean? Like, or you have these dumb girl characters where everybody is like, you're the only hot girl in town. Every guy falls over you.
Loves you.
Those two, I just do not like at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous and silly.
Yeah.
And again, I only like love triangles if they all end up together. If the three of them are going to be together, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's have a triad. But if you're just doing it to like have a triangle and have this extra level of angst, then no.
Yeah. Like you can't think of anything else to make conflict besides a third person. There's lots.
Yeah. There's so much more you could do. Don't just do a triangle. It's stupid and annoying and obnoxious.
Which basically is that book we just got finished talking about. You want them all together. Maybe that might be a happier ending, because that whole time it's kind of like she's trying to pick A or B. I'm like, this is so damn stupid.
Yeah, no. It's so annoying how she's like in love with both of them and can't pick. And I'm just like, just pick both. Just pick both. There's too much angst around this. There's too much angst around this.
They might go for it.
They might. I mean, the two guys are basically starting to become a brotherly romance kind of thing. That can grow. They respect
each other.
They respect each other. They can be friends.
Yeah.
They can grow to something more eventually if they want it to. You know?
Well, if this character pulls it off, she's a boss. That's all I gotta say. She's running them dudes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, another thing I hate that kind of ties into that is I really hate like the whole like virginal woman with like this hot guy that's like the biggest hoe. You know? I can't.
And then all of a sudden, like he has sex with her and he's like, I never want to have sex with another person ever again. She's so perfect and she knows everything. And I'm like, but does she? She's a virgin. How does she know?
Scenes, they creep me out a lot of the times. Like when they finally decide to hook up, it feels wrong a lot of the times. I mean, I haven't come across one where I thought I wasn't cringeworthy.
I mean, there are a lot of virgins in romance. There's a lot. But in the past 10 years, it has really started changing. So we're not as... Every heroine has to be a virgin who's completely untouched before the hero shows up. Like, there's a lot more women who have had sex before. And we're kind of having to deal with slut shaming in that sense. Like, I know there's a lot of readers who are like, no, every woman has to be completely pure and untouched before she meets the hero. How dare she have sex where the hero can literally have sex with a prostitute and they're like, oh, he's so perfect.
Let me just ask this. I mean, maybe you can make it make sense for me.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, let's say it's a small town and the hero is sleeping with everything that moves. Who's left? So you got to have this virgin, but he slept with everybody. So you just, I mean, I don't understand. Where are the virgins hiding? It just seems dumb. You know what I'm saying?
It seems so dumb. Yes.
I don't know. And maybe that might appear more with younger women or younger female characters, but I sure so don't want to read about a 35-year-old virgin and a playboy. I sure don't.
Oh, God, no.
I don't.
No. What are you doing with your life?
Hell, I
I
don't
mean,
want to
not
read
to
about.
judge anybody, but
No, I mean you can be a virgin for as long as you want, but I
Mhm.
personally don't want to read that
Yeah.
because that seems real lopsided and kind of it's. I'm telling you, to me, some of these love scenes where the girl actually gives it up to the guy, it's cringy. It just
hmm
doesn't feel comfortable.
hmm Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm. I mean, and the guy's ego can't manage that she's been with other people. Is that what it is?
Of course not. Of course he can't. It's
Mm.
just so annoying.
I hate
Ugh.
it.
Yeah. I
No, I mean,
hate.
if they both want to be virgins, fine. Great.
Mhm.
You guys can fumble
Oh,
around
I
together.
love, yes. Now, I loved the flipped where she has had sex and he's still like a 20-something-year-old virgin.
Mm-hmm.
Love that trope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Which
don't mind
maybe
that.
makes me a little bit of a hypocrite, but
Yeah.
I
Because the guy,
hate,
they don't
yeah.
make him seem weak and inept. Like he can't figure it out.
He figures it out,
Yeah.
but he's still, yay, let's have more hero virgins.
Yeah. Because he's not like, well, at least in my opinion, they don't make the guys to be so dumb. I mean, not dumb, but like so inexperienced in everything that they need to be taught in everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Oh, yeah.
So, oh Lord. What else do we not like? There's a lot.
There's
sure.
a lot. I hate the slut shaming and the whorish other woman.
Yeah.
So, you have your virginal, pure heroine, and then every other woman who she comes in contact with is just like this whore, slut, awful, evil person. And everybody has to slut shame everybody. And it's just, can we stop with the slut shaming?
Yeah.
Please. It is 2020. Women are having sex. Just because they have sex does not mean they are evil villains who are whores. And yeah.
And honestly, that comes out of the romance genre and shows up in other genres as well. It's like the slut shaming is real. Like in 2020, brand new books.
Yep. Can we please stop? Can we?
I mean, it could be a thriller, like one I just finished reading. The woman is murdered, but all people can talk about was that she was the town slut. She wasn't, but that people have that in their mind. I can't. Don't do that.
Don't do that. No, none of that.
Yeah. Be a girl's girl or, be a support of girls and women and don't do that. Like, come on.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Ugh, God, there's nothing that makes me sick more than that. I mean, other than like, hooking up with your kidnapper or I don't know, like
step siblings.
Although I mentioned V.C. Andrews earlier, she had a lot of incest in her books. I'm not gonna lie. Like the One Cutler series, I read that like I don't know. I must have been in middle school when I read that. Lord knows I probably shouldn't have been reading it. But I remember distinctly, like this girl gets with this guy, and then it turns out to be her like blood brother. She like they are all the way related, and then the brother that she thought was her brother actually isn't her brother. So then eventually she goes and gets with him. Oh girl, it was messy. It was so messy, so messy. But I think as a child, it's like drama. But as an adult, it's like, yikes, that's really messy.
I stopped reading Cassandra Clare years ago, but I read her first trilogy, The Mortal Instruments, way back when. And that had the whole, oh my God, I think we're siblings, but we keep kind of hooking up together trope too. And it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like, why is this a thing? And then, of course, at the end, it turns out they're not siblings, so they can make out and everything's great. But I was like, why is this a thing?
Please don't even scare me with that. I would vomit. Like, if you say to me we could be related, I'd be like, oh, shit. It's a wrap. I think I need to go
We're done.
I think I need to like gargle like with bleach or something. Don't do that, people. Don't do it. I was just being sarcastic, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, no.
Yeah, that's not cute at all. But you know, everyone has their kink, so maybe some people do think it's cute, but not me.
Not me. Not me. Not kink shaming, but please don't make me read that.
Yeah. Just like I don't know. I feel like some people have like gotten with people that have not necessarily attacked them, but like have been less than nice to them in that arena. And then they're like, oh, I think I love you, even though you've kind of abused me. I kind of don't like that.
That's the bully romance.
Okay.
And usually a lot of times that enemies to lovers that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, oh my God, you were abusive and awful, but now we're having sex and I think I like you. And I'm like, this is not, no, run away. Don't have sex.
The perfect counter to that, I know before we start recording, I mentioned It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Mm-hmm. That is the opposite of that. Like, can you imagine, like, and that's why the book, people call it a romance, but it's not a romance because the abuse ends with them. So they can't be together.
Oh, good.
But, you know, for some reason they kept, you know, it's like, oh my God. But if you want something that kind of shows you can't have that kind of relationship and it be successful, that's the book to read.
Good. I'm glad there are books out there doing that, because so often, again, I see the bully romances where they're like, yes, he bullied me for 20 years and he like beat me up and gave me 20 years of therapy, but now we're in love and getting married and having babies. And I'm like, why? Why is this a thing?
Yeah. It's like all the time, like with all of these things that we're not really liking, it's like the woman is getting beat down in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I
don't understand how this is like still popular in today's age, like some of these tropes.
Well, I rarely read books written by cis-het white men because the way they write women is so disturbing. And there's this quote from a book floating around Facebook right now about a man who obviously has never had sex with a woman, the author, I mean, because he's talking about his characters trying to impregnate this woman and he just does not know how anything down there works. And like, I want to vomit every time I see this. And of course, everybody's sharing it. And I'm like, stop sharing this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God. No, there's so many.
That's not good. So one trope that we both especially hate, and we kind of went off on a tangent in another episode. Sorry. Let's do it. It's the baby gate situation.
Oh my God. Why?
Yeah.
Why is this still a thing?
Like, why does the woman have to have a baby or child
Marriage
or something?
And baby.
Right. All of that to have a happily ever after. Like, why is that necessary?
Please stop.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I do hate it too. I just can't. Like, not every, like, and especially paranormal or urban fantasy or whatever, like, these women are kick-ass women. Not that kick-ass women can't have children, but sometimes it just doesn't fit that lifestyle. It doesn't fit their personality traits.
Yeah.
So why do we have to force that? Like, why?
Why?
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate the baby epilogue. So, like, you've had this long book, everything's great. And then the epilogue is like 6 months later, we're married and pregnant and everything's perfect. I'm like, why? Why? If you had ended it right before the epilogue, I would have been totally fine. Like, no, you don't need to be married to have everything be happy and perfect. And you've only been together for 9 months and now you're pregnant. So you'll have less than 2 years together before you have baby life. Why do you need this?
Settle down. Take off your shoes. Be barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah. No, spend a few years together.
I mean, why can't you?
At all.
Yeah, like leave it up to the reader to kind of imagine if they want. You know what I mean? Like they already have the happily ever after. They're together, skipping off into the sunset. Why do you have to add that other stuff?
So there's one book that or trilogy really that I can think of by Jenny Holiday. And in the first book, the couple gets together, and then at the end of the third book, everybody's together and talking and happy. And the couple from the first book specifically out loud says, we're going to stay child free for probably the rest of our lives. Like, a child would not fit with our lifestyle. We don't want kids. And I was like, yeah.
That's so nice. But it's also a shame they have to explain themselves as characters.
Yeah. Because, of course, the other couples are getting together and having babies. But this one couple from the very first, they're like, nope, we're child-free. And I was like, yes.
Refreshing.
We need more child-free couples.
Yeah. Like, if you want to do that, fine. But not every single, it doesn't have to be like that all the time. So, yeah, I would appreciate more maybe long-term relationships that don't necessarily end up in marriage, or some marriages that end up choosing not to have kids. I would not mind that one bit. Like, add more of that.
Yes. Please, child-free characters. Or common law marriages. Like, do you really need a huge wedding? Or a marriage certificate at all? Like, why? What is happening? What do you need?
Right. Like, let's get a little unconventional with some of it. Like, let go of that old philosophy.
Old school. Yep.
Now, I know there's the audience for people that love that. So definitely keep making some of those for people who enjoy that. But not everyone enjoys that. So,
and not everyone needs it. And not everyone wants to read it. Yep.
Yeah, so come on, authors. Chop, chop. Y'all got some more writing to do. Because honestly, I think some of the things that we said that we didn't like is part of the reason why I don't read a whole lot of romance nowadays. Like, I read a bunch of different genres, but romance isn't my go-to because I feel like half the time, and it could be an assumption or me being a little bit, assuming I won't like things, but I don't want to be rolling my eyes for half the book. Like, oh my God.
It is getting better. It really is. Like, the books that were being published 10 years ago still had a lot of, like, the virgin heroines and everything was Babygate. And now there are a lot more, I guess, millennial authors who are out here writing stuff. And they're like, nope, she's going to have had sex before. It doesn't always end with the marriage, but sometimes it does. And yeah, no, it's getting better. We still have a long way to go. But we're far, far, far past, like, the 80s bodice rippers and the maybe rape love stories.
Oh, God. Oh.
And, yeah. we're not going down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Let's stop while we're ahead.
Well, oh, my gosh. So you guys tell us in Shelf Addiction Official, or tell us wherever. We'd like to know what are some romance tropes that you really love and really hate. Don't leave us hanging. Let us know that we're not the only ones that hate the ones we hate or love the ones we love. Do we have any more tropes to discuss before you give your recommendations?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we can stop.
Okay.
I mean, I can keep going if you want me to.
Like, did we talk your ear off, guys? Like, are you okay?
If you want to keep talking, hit us up on social media and we'll keep going.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Always.
So now, Casey, who is the connoisseur of romance, will provide a couple of her, go-to recommendations in a couple of different romance subgenres. So I'm just going to toss it over the wall to you, Casey, and you can go.
Oh my gosh. So, like I said, I've been reading romance novels since I was 9 years old. I read so much. And of course, as soon as somebody says, hey, recommend a book, I'm like, have I read a book ever in my entire life? So let me preface that and just say, okay, so I love romance novels, and here are some of my favorites. So in contemporaries, and I'll tell you the tropes, a book I recently read, like just a couple months ago. It was called Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. And this has fake dating. So, of course, I'm like all over this book. I fucking love it. It's male, and these two guys are polar opposites, and they have to fake date for reasons. But of course, they start getting feelings, and they're like, oh no, this was supposed to be fake, and now I have feelings. So it's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Sounds
and
fantastic.
then the other one, the other contemporary I want to recommend is Not the Guy You Marry by Andy J. Christopher. Mm-hmm. So this book, the heroine recently broke up with her boyfriend, who she dated since she was a teenager, and he was her older brother's best friend. So that was the trope I love.
Okay.
But Andy flips it, and it's just like, okay, so yes, she loved him since the time she was like 4 years old, and she thought he was everything. And then he turned out to be just a total asshole dick. And so she broke up with him. And so now she's like, what do I do? And she ends up, so the heroine is a lawyer, and she has an intern law student come in for the summer, and they have instant chemistry. And I hate that boss employee trope that we talked about, but the book picks up after his internship ends, so she's no longer his boss, but they had that whole flirting thing for the entire summer. And now they're like, okay, let's see what happens. And they accidentally get married in Vegas. Just kind of spoiler. I'm sorry. But no, it's great. It takes the tropes and it flips them on their heads. And it's not, you know, she doesn't go back to her dick of a boyfriend who was her older brother's best friend. And yes, she was the boss in this instance, but they waited until after the internship ended before they acted on anything. And it's fantastic. I love Andy's books. So, paranormal romance. I love paranormal romance. But I always, always, always recommend Nalini Singh. And the first book in that series is Slave to Sensation. It's just wonderful. Lots of not quite fated mates. They don't have fated love stories in this series. But there's 3 different types of creatures. So there's humans, there's the Psy, and then there's the changelings. And the changelings are very much like, once you're mine, you're mine. And we're going to be mated and we're going to be together. But it's not, you're my one and only forever and always. It's just like I choose you, which is fantastic. And then Alona Andrews is another one who I always recommend no matter what. And we did the Hidden Legacy series on the 3 Bloggers podcast.
Which I enjoyed very much.
Yes. It's a great series. And just go listen to us. Yeah. Read the books and listen to us talk about it. I'm not even going to tell you anymore.
You're great characters, like, honestly.
They're fantastic.
Yeah.
They're absolutely fantastic. And then, so for erotica, like if you want the hardcore stuff, guys, American Queen by Sierra Simone is the first book in the new Camelot series. And that's a triad. They have BDSM sex, like hardcore. It's a retelling of King Arthur. But in modern day, and he's the president of the United States.
Oh, Lord.
So it's the president and the vice president, and she's a professor. And oh my God. Like,
oh, okay.
And it's a triad, and the penises are touching. Like, it is very angsty.
That sounds spicy.
It's so spicy. It is so spicy. The stuff they do. Oh my God. And then finally, I also want to recommend The Angel by Tiffany Rice, which is book 2 in her original Sinner series. But in this instance, it's also a male-male couple. But one of the guys is a virgin and completely untouched, while the other guy is this like playboy dom who, has been having sex since he was probably like 15 or 16. And so it's not quite flipping the trope on its head, but there's that whole like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, and he knows everything, and what happens? How do I deal with this? And there's a lot more of that, like, how do I deal with it angst?
Oh, God. So do I feel like I'm going to be the one getting an education in this book?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is book 2. Book 1 gives a huge... You have to read book 1 before you can read book 2. But I want to recommend book 2 for this trope. But they don't have sex right away. Like, it gets dragged out to try and give the younger guys some time to not quite get the experience, but learn and think about it and try to understand what he wants. So by the end of the book, he can be like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And it is fantastic.
Okay.
So I could keep going, recommend more books, recommend more authors, but I'm going to stop myself there.
Well, thank you. That was actually a really good bunch of books. And if you want to dive in, check out any of her recommendations, you know.
If you've read them, talk to me. I love talking about these books. Please, somebody just talk to me about books. Like, that's what I want to do with my life.
Yes. And unfortunately, this week we don't have any readers react for this topic, but
what happened, guys?
Yeah, we will put it out there for our next topic. So definitely be sure to join the Facebook group Shelf Addiction Official, or follow either or both of us on social media so you don't miss out on the next call to action. Because we want to know. We want your input. Yeah.
We want to hear. We want to talk to you.
Absolutely. So the links for everything are in the show notes. And I think that's it. What do you think, Casey?
I think that's it.
Okay. We are done for today. And it's been great. It's been great fun. And we'll catch you next time. And until then, happy reading. Take care, guys. If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.